You had to filibuster for a little bit, but it is time for your bracket.
Yeah.
Because you clowned me earlier for my crazy predictions. Is that Oregon in the national championship? Take it away.
That is Oregon in the national championship, and I have to admit to you, I had to do this twice. I had to give you two different brackets because of the way this one played out. Our first rounds are similar, so I won't go through it all because I agree with a lot of your standpoints and your viewpoints on it. I just think Oregon dusts JMU. Great season for JMU. Coach Chesney will do a great job at UCLA. JMU gets a new coach. Everything's over. Oregon cruises. I think Alabama tonight, I think the offense does get rolling. You mentioned Josh Cuevas. I think Jeremy Bernard. I even think Ryan Williams has a huge game today. I think they score just enough. And then when Oklahoma's pressing, that's when Bama gets the turnovers.
Boom.
That's the reason why they hold Oklahoma to 17 points. 28-17, the final score there. Ole Miss, Tulane. I like Ole Miss, not by the same score as before, but another easy to easy-ish win, 14 points over the Green Wave. Texas A&M, Miami.
Wow.
This is a game I've been going back and forth on. This feels like, and old school gamblers will know what I mean when I say this. This feels like a dog with fleas. It's the dog that everybody likes. And when everybody likes a certain dog, because if you ask, you're asking everybody. We ask on this show, other places ask, what's your favorite underdog going into this matchup? Everybody likes Miami, and I think it's for two reasons. I think it's when the last time we saw Texas A&M, they were getting dusted by a Texas team that lost 3 games. And then Texas A&M, 2 weeks before that, played South Carolina and had a storm back in the largest comeback in school history, 27 points. I think they right the ship, but I think Mario Cristobal pulls a Mario Cristobal, and there's something that happens, a 2-point conversion that goes awry. Yeah. There's something that happens there. That's the reason my score is 28-27.
Here's what I'll say about that game, and I know I picked Miami, but I will say this. What have SEC fans, particularly Georgia fans, known about Carson Beck? What does he do? What seems
Chokes
like
in those moments.
every time.
Chokes in those moments, yeah.
He throws like these 3-4 interception games, and Miami just cannot handle that.
Right.
But now I will say on the other side, Texas A&M really doesn't get – they don't force takeaways like some of these other defenses do. So that's the only reason why I think Carson Beck will win this game.
Yeah.
But when he goes up against a more stout defense, and it's nothing against Texas A&M's defense by any means. I mean, their defensive coordinator's going to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And their offensive coordinator just took the head coaching job up there in K-State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't know if those guys are distracted. There's we want to talk about distractions. I mean, there's distractions all over the place.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the pick. I mean, you could definitely – this is kind of like that Alabama-Oklahoma game where it's such a toss-up. It can go either way.
Right, and that's the reason why the score reflects it. It's 28-27 here, and I just think that it's going to be a razor-thin margin, and whether it's a Carson Beck interception or mistake or whether it's a Mario Cristobal mistake, I just feel like we see something like that happen in College Station, not to mention Miami has to go there on the road. So then moving on to the second round, Texas Tech and Oregon. I like a high-scoring game. Texas Tech, I don't quite fully believe in. I know you call them like an SEC team, and they look the part. They certainly do look the part. But I just like Oregon even more, and you'll see the reason why later. And if you're looking at the bracket, you see why. Alabama and Indiana. I like Indiana in this game for Bama going out to the Rose Bowl. This will be a very, very good crowd. I think this game is a lot closer than people think. But I like Indiana in the matchup.
Well, first of all, Alabama fans have bad memories about the Rose Bowl with Michigan a few years ago. You think Alabama scored 27 points on that Indiana defense?
I think that.
What have you seen? What have you seen from the Alabama offense that tells you that they can do that?
It's not recent memory. What I'm hearkening back to is what they were week 8, week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10. I think they tap into that a little bit. They only do that against Indiana because they have the buffer game against Oklahoma. I think they scored 28 points against Oklahoma. That brings back the confidence that they had when they went on that winning streak, and that's the reason why I think it's a bit of a high-scoring game. But I do think Indiana's offense with Fernando Mendoza, I think he lights up Alabama's defense, and that's the defense doesn't get really lit up all that much. I like their Indiana in that matchup. I get why you had that question is though, because we have very precious little evidence over the last month or so of Alabama's offense being able to score.
Well, I mean, confidence is everything, and if they do manage to right the ship tonight against Oklahoma, I can definitely see it.
Yep. So I think it's one win and then done for Alabama, and let the DeBoer rumors begin.
Oh, I'm looking ahead.
Georgia and Ole Miss. I am completely opposite of you. I think that they're going to run into a Georgia team that is going to absolutely steamroll them on defense. And I don't see Trinidad Shambles having a good game. This could be the blowout of the second round. I like Georgia big in that matchup over Ole Miss.
It's just personal at this point.
and then Ohio State, Texas A&M. Like Georgia, Ole Miss, I think Ohio State blows them out. And at that point of the season, like you mentioned with Colin Klein Colin Klein and Will Stein, I just think that at that point your O coordinators have a foot out in both doors. Yeah. One going to Manhattan, one going to Lexington. I just think Texas A&M, they're happy to be here. They lose to the defending champion Ohio State. Then Oregon, Indiana. I like Oregon there in that matchup. Reason being, I just really like Dan Lanning, and I think that the same confidence that they brew from that Texas Tech win, they spill it over to the game against Indiana. And I just think Dan Lanning has something for Fernando Mendoza that he hasn't seen. 24-28.
Dan Lanning winning a big game.
Yep.
Ooh,
yes.
That's a big rivalry right there.
A lot of star power on the field. Georgia, Ohio State might as well be an NFL game. I mean, there's so many NFL bodies that will be there on that field. I like Ohio State in a slim 1-point game. I have to admit to the audience, I had Oregon winning the national championship, and then I said, no, Patrick, not yet. I can't do it. Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sand, Carlos Tate, Ryan Day, they hoisted the trophy for the second straight year.
Well, I mean, we definitely were different in our picks. I'm still rocking with Ole Miss making the national championship, but losing to Indiana. Dan Lanning and meaningful games, they don't really go well together. Just look at that Ohio State game last year. They were totally unprepared.
Yeah.
And, you guys heard my takes in the first hour about the Ohio State and when they actually play someone, they just can't really score points.
Right.
So that's just why I'm kind of fading Ohio State this year.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate, great talent. Jeremiah Smith, great talent. But I just think the inexperience of Julian Sand, I know he won the passing completions and everything.
Right.
And he's going to break Bo Nix's record, but he hasn't really played in a playoff game.
Elite defense.
I will say, as I mentioned, Will Howard's experience definitely helped Ohio State last year after the Michigan game.
For sure, yeah. No question it did. And it'll be a really interesting playoff to watch. I have a lot of points in mind, a lot of points scored.